Thank you very much for that cue, Taima. So, kindly allow in the third contestant into the main room.
Contest Chair, I confirm that the third contestant is in the main room. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Toastmaster Frank Kavma, kindly confirm that you can see and hear me.
Perfect. I can see and I have heard you very well.
Okay, great. How are you feeling this evening?
A bit nervous.
Right. Contestant number 3, Frank Kavma, over to you.
The best story is that is not just said, nor the one that is just seen, but rather the one you will experience. Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters and guests, believe with me that Kiara did not just tell us a story or did not just show us what he went through, but he has made us feel the experience he had with the mechanic. Allow me share with you what I liked about Kiara's story. First and foremost, Kiara's story gave us good experience of, for example, us who used to drive very old vehicles, the ones that break on the road. It was very well crafted. Kiara, your story was very relatable to the ones that drive old vehicles. Thank you. The second thing is the take-home points that you shared with us. When you said that a good mechanic is one who first drives or does a road test before he handles over the vehicle, that was a good one, because we relate to some of our mechanics here in Kampala. They will check the vehicle and just hand it over to you that, sir, your vehicle is ready, without doing a road test. And the other point, when you said that they should always show us the spare parts that they have actually picked or replaced. We know we have crooks. So Kiara, thank you for enlightening us about that. The third thing that I liked about your story was you telling us about your mechanic, and even telling us the name of the mechanic. That made your story actually very personal. I liked it very much. And lastly, your lighting, your stage presence showed that you had enough practice with the story. And we know that for each and every great story, there are always room for improvement. So, Kiara, this is what I think you would have improved in your story to make it better. One, the tone at some point needed to change. For example, when you are talking about the notes, the high and the low, that shouldn't have remained the same tone, because we know high is a high tone, then low should have at least been a lower tone. Then some expressions, when your mechanic told you that your vehicle needed an overhaul, I know that that shocked you and it should have appeared in your face. A shock does not remain the same. So I expected to see some facial impression of a shock. Otherwise, overall, your story touched me and I related a lot with it, since I once went through that experience, and it was well presented. Thank you so much, Kia, and over to you, context chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, contestant Frank Kavma. And now I would like to request for 3 minutes to allow our judges mark and sum their ballots. Thank you very much, timer, for the cue. And now the judges or the ballot counters and the contest chair, feel free to join the breakout room to conduct their business. And as they do that, I'd like to invite back onto the stage, the virtual lectern, all our 3 contestants. To our audience, when you see me trying out different things like making sure that you see my elbows, making sure that my voice is low and high at some point, that's because of the feedback that I have had an opportunity to listen to from our evaluators tonight. Yes, I can see you, Brenda. Well, since you're the first one to appear on my small screen, I'll like to ask you the first question. How are you feeling right now after delivering that wonderful evaluation?
I feel very empowered right now because I've never participated in an evaluation contest before. So this was me daring myself, and the fact that I've done it and I'm here to talk about it feels very empowering.
Thank you very much. Well, at some point I saw Elizabeth, but now I can't see her.
Yes, I'm on contest chair.
Great. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling tense, but I'm happy this has passed.
Right. Is it anyhow different from a club evaluation?
Oh yes, contest chair, this is the second time I'm delivering an evaluation. So
Wait,
I am on track. And
the first evaluation and then the second one in a contest.
Yes.
Okay, sometimes I don't like breaking the rules, but today I'm breaking the rules. And I'd like everyone on the call to appreciate Elizabeth for showing up boldly in this contest. You can use the virtual applause on your reaction screen. Thank you so much for showing that boldness today. Contestant number 3, Frank, can you turn on your video so that I can see you? How are you feeling?
Very excited.
Oh, great. That's interesting, from being nervous to being excited. Well, is this anyhow different from the normal ordinary club evaluations in your experience?
Yeah, for sure. Just like Elizabeth, it has been my second evaluation. And yeah, it required a lot of practice.
Frank as well.
Yeah, you needed some practice than the club evaluations. Yeah,
Thank you.
we had a lot of support from Brenda. Brenda, thank you for the support. Yeah.
Wow, that's so amazing. Brenda supported the fellow contestants to show up boldly today. Thank you very much for your courage, and we are definitely learning from that. I have stalked every one of the contestants today, and I'm happy to announce that they all have an area or they have an attachment to research. So I want to ask them a question. What's a researcher have to do with public speaking? And I'll start with Toastmaster Elizabeth.
A researcher is someone who goes out there to seek what is not known and share it for consumption. There are many outlets. So research, going out and getting information is not alone. You have to disseminate it. But how do you disseminate it if you cannot stand and speak about your good work? We've seen a number of researchers doing great things in the lab, but when it is time to go out there, they are not able to deliver a message. So I think it is important for a researcher to engage in public speaking practice so that their products are able to reach the intended clientele or consumers.
Oh, thank you very much. Brenda, if we may hear from your line of research, how is public speaking connected to the children?
So children. Did you say to the children, just to be clear?
Yes, to the children.
Okay, yeah, I think that one of the things that we learn about public speaking is tailoring our communication or our speeches to our intended audience. Because imagine me speaking to under 5-year-olds and I'm speaking as if I'm speaking to a 40-year-old or an age mate. So it kind of equips you to rearrange your mind and kind of plan ahead so that whatever you're delivering, whether it's an interview, and you find with children, it's mostly interviews because you're trying to get information from them, but actually understand them. So you have to prompt them through questioning them. So you have to kind of adopt the mindset of a child. And I think that's what this training helps us to do, to kind of morph ourselves into different situations so that we're able to deliver in whichever rooms we're in, whether they're children, adults, people much older than us, that were relevant in whichever circumstances we find ourselves in.
Wow, thank you very much. I have never had an opportunity to internalize the fact that this experience can actually help us to morph into young versions of ourselves, maybe bring our understanding to as low as a 5-year-olds. Thank you very much for that perspective. Toastmaster Frank, for your question, how is this related, or how does it help with your line of work with the old or those individuals? I don't want to call them old, the individuals that are wealthy in terms of age.
The senior citizens, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, there is what we call knowledge management research. And in knowledge management, we start with knowledge acquisition, where we interact with the beneficiary, find out how much they will know about an intervention or a program. If you cannot communicate well, you will never get the right information out of this group. After that level, there's what we call knowledge sharing. In knowledge sharing, we are sharing our findings with the stakeholders. So again, if you cannot communicate well, your audience will never get to understand what you are communicating to them. So in all aspects, practicing helps us to acquire the right knowledge, also share the right knowledge with all the stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Frank, for that perspective. Indeed, I can't wait when I become a senior citizen with this Toastmasters experience. My final question or round of questions to our contestants. Kindly share with us how your Toastmasters experience has been to date. I know many have heard from Elizabeth. This is your second evaluation, meaning that you are not very old in Toastmasters, Frank as well. So I will start with Elizabeth to share with us how your Toastmasters experience has been. You could consider sharing with us, when did you actually join?
Chair, I joined Toastmasters in April or May this year. It's been some good months in this family, but what I can say is that I'm seeing a change. It is gradual, I'm getting there. And if we get a chance to share one-on-one or even in public, I'll take you through what I've learned so far, what I'm implementing, and what my aspirations are. Over to you.
Thank you very much for that experience. Indeed, Toastmasters, we do not remain the same. We are on the move, and it's happy for us to meet you at this point along your journey of Toastmasters, of leadership and public speaking development. Next, I would like to hear from contestant Brenda Asimwe. Tell us about your experience or your journey with Toastmasters?
I think I've been in Toastmasters since around 2018, and my experience has been that Toastmasters is like a practice ground where I feel safe to come and try out different things, because I feel that the world judges us harshly, not even knowing where we come from. So I find safety in coming to this place where I know that people, they'll offer me criticism, but constructive criticism, and that I am being sharpened so that when I go out there, I'm confident, I believe in myself and in whatever I have to share. So in Toastmasters, I find safety to grow. And yeah, and I love it. I guess I should add that.
Thank you very much for that response, Brenda. For this long, I thought that I am the only Toastmaster that enjoys the Toastmasters platform or environment because it's safe and I can make mistakes. This year at a contest, I wanted us to have a contest for making mistakes at Toastmasters. Perhaps we shall have Brenda as our fourth contestant when we have that. I will be participating, yours truly. Next, we would like to hear from Frank. Kindly share with us about your experience at Toastmasters.
Oh, thank you so much, Contest Chair. I am less than a year old in Toastmasters, and I have really loved the community of Toastmasters. Our fellow Toastmaster members have really encouraged us. They have built us, they have guided. There's a lot of guidance, there's a lot of support. Anytime you are delivering a speech, the mentorship is really very hopeful. It has helped me grow, that even when someone is delivering their speeches anywhere, you can always tell that this there's a mistake made here, there's a mistake at this and this level. So I've learned to tell speeches in different categories and knowing which type of speech suits which audience. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Indeed, at Toastmasters, in the different projects that we take on, we learn how to incorporate different attributes of speeches into our normal speaking styles. If you would like to, if you're a new member or if you're a guest and you would like to know what these attributes are, they include humor. At Toastmasters, we learn how to incorporate humor into our speeches and many more. To keep that as something that is a secret for you to find out at some point, kindly reach out to any of the clubs around you so that you can get more or get to know more about Toastmasters and the resources that we can leverage on. Contest Chief Judge, I would like to confirm that you are back to the room. All right, it looks like we do not have our Chief Judge back to the main room. And at this point, I would like to say thank you very much to all our contestants for participating in this contest. We have a gift for you in form of a certificate of appreciation that will be handed over to you at the tail end of this meeting. So kindly sit tight behind that screen of yours and watch as the other speeches or contests take part during this contest. I can see our
Contest Chair, I confirm that the Chief Judge is back in the meeting room.
All right, thank you very much, Sergeant at Arms. Chief Judge, kindly confirm that we are good to go for the next round of contest.
Thank you very much, Contest Chair. I would like to confirm that all the judges are still around And the ballot counters and the timer are available. And we are ready for this international speech contest. Before we proceed, I would like to take you through the guidelines that the judges are going to follow. Number one, speech development, which carries 20 marks. How is the speech structured? Opening, body, and a conclusion. Effectiveness of the speech. We have value of the speech. How are the ideas shared? What is the logic behind the speech? Is the speech original? We have physical as the other category, the body language of the speaker, the use of the space available to the speaker, and then we have the voice. How is the speaker using the voice? How do they vary their voices as they deliver their speeches? Is the speech appropriate? And lastly, we have correctness, and that is focusing on grammar and use of words. Ladies and gentlemen, speech development is 20 points, effectiveness is 15 points, value of the speech is 15 points, the physical category is 10 points, vocal variety is 10 points, appropriateness is 10 points, and correctness is also 10 points. Over to you, contest chair.
Thank you very much, Chief Judge. Before I invite the timer on the stage to tell us about the timing criteria, I would like to inform us about the number of contestants that we have tonight. For this international speech contest, we have 4 contestants, and the speaking order is going to be as follows. In the contestant number one will be Toastmaster Elizabeth Asimwe. Contestant number 2 will be Toastmaster Patricia Opio. Contestant number 3 will be Toastmaster Charity Nyoshuti. And contestant number 4 will be Toastmaster Brenda Asimwe. This looks promising to be a fun-packed session. Looking forward to the lineup of speakers. So I'd like to inform our guests to kindly hold on and listen to the speakers as they deliver the speeches. And I would like now to invite our timer to inform our speakers about how and what they should expect about the timing. Over to you, Toastmaster Geoffrey. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you, Contest Chair. All the speeches delivered by contestants must conform to the timing guidelines for the contest. The international speeches shall be from 5 to 7 minutes. A contestant will be disqualified if the speech is less than 4 minutes, 30 seconds, or more than 7 minutes, 30 seconds. A green signal will be displayed at 5 minutes and remain displayed for 1 minute. A yellow signal will be displayed at 6 minutes and remain displayed for 1 minute. A red signal will be displayed at 7 minutes and will remain on until the conclusion of the speeches. I can demonstrate the signal.
Yes, Geoffrey. Can you
This
proceed
is
to demonstrate?
the green signal. Everyone can see the green signal?
Yes, please. We can see the green.
And the yellow signal is here.
Can see that as well.
And lastly, the red signal is this.
Thank you very much.
Over to you, Contest Chair.
All right, thank you very much. Our timer, our infallible timer, Toastmaster Geoffrey Ayera for such a stellar performance up to this point. Toastmasters, guests, and anyone on the call, let the contest begin. And first, I don't know where this first place thing is coming from, but whoever is sponsoring it, please, for now, stop the sponsorship. Our first contestant this evening is Toastmaster Elizabeth Asim. The title of her speech is, I wish I did it earlier. I wish I did it earlier, Elizabeth Asim.
I wish I did it earlier. Contest chair, Toastmasters, and future Toastmasters. Very quickly, by show of hands, how many of us have tried dieting? Dieting, oh, I can say I am not alone. Dieting is a practice of eating food in a regulated manner to increase, maintain, or reduce body weight. How I love my food, especially meat and fish. In fact, when I see these foods, I beam. But do you know that eating inappropriate foods is harmful to your body? We shall see some of these foods later. About a year and a half ago, I joined a weight loss program. To date, I have managed to cut 16 kilograms, all the way from 86 down to 69.70 kilograms. And I feel amazing. I feel excited. At times, I just raise my hand up, tilt it a little bit, pat my shoulder and say, Lisa, you've done it. Lisa, you've excelled. And it makes me feel good. About 2 weeks ago, I was surprised to see my little black dress fit. This is the dress. You may not see it in full, but it is. This dress couldn't fit me 2 years ago. Didn't I do well? I feel I did. You may be wondering what the trigger was. We all have different motivating factors for losing weight. Mine was from my then 5-6-year-old Sandra. She asked me whether I had a baby in the stomach. I tried to explain that I didn't have a baby, at least I was sure at the time there was no baby. I tried to explain, but my explanation fell on deaf ears. I reflected on it and realized that I needed to cut weight. Not just for cosmetic reasons, but for health reasons. I remember vividly, I would be taking stairs. By the time I get to the 4th or 5th stair, I would be panting. And by the time I would get to the 10th or 11th, I would be sweating profusely. It was that bad. I decided to wake up. I decided to start exercising. I started looking for better diets, adopt a healthier lifestyle so that I feel better about my health. Toastmasters and guests, I can tell you that the journey hasn't been easy. Eating is very easy, by the way, especially the unhealthy food, because the food is available. The food is on the street, the food is everywhere, but shedding it off is a challenge. And if you know how to maneuver, how to work around that, you can do it. Trust me. What are some of these inappropriate foods where researchers tell us that oily foods aren't good for the body? Junk food is not good. Just broad categories that aren't good for us. I am not saying that you should discard them completely, but you need to know what your body needs, how much your body needs, and you can take on that journey. Experts say that it takes 2 to 3 weeks to adopt a habit or adopt a better lifestyle. To me, from experience, it wasn't 2 weeks. Neither was it 3 weeks. It was over 2 months. Recognizing that we have differences, recognizing that each person is unique, each body is unique. I wish I had discovered that earlier. You may be out there struggling with weight, struggling with timelines. My advice to you is that you should put that calendar aside. If you're looking at a bigger picture of losing weight, stop setting these very tight timelines and targets. Do this. Take one step at a time. Know what is good for your body and your health in general. Eat healthy food. Exercise, even if it is lightly, do it consistently. Consistency, consistency, consistency is the game changer. Contest chair, over to you.
Thank you very much, contestant Elizabeth. I will request for a minute of silence to allow our judges mark their ballots. Timer is the 1 minute up.
Sorry, I lost my network, but it's up.
Thank you very much. Our next contestant for this evening is Toastmaster Patricia Opio. Patricia, kindly confirm that you have pinned the timer.
Yes, I have.
Great. The title of Patricia's speech is Love in Time of War. Love in the Time of War. Patricia Opio, Love in the Time of War. Over to you, Patricia.
You are big-headed. Excuse me? You are big-headed. I was taken aback. I mean, who did she think she was to tell me that? I mean, yes, she was my boss, but excuse me, this wasn't going down. This was war. Good evening, contest chair, Toastmasters, and guests. Have you ever been in a war of your creation, but there is no backing down? I mean, why me? Why not them? Now I know you're probably thinking, she should just let it go. Accept it. Be the bigger woman. But no, I was not going to be the bigger woman. Not today, not tomorrow, and not the other day. However, do you know who was the bigger woman? My boss. Yes. She decided to show love in a time of war. But how did she do that? I realized later on that she used the coaching leadership style that I had not been introduced to. Okay, let me be honest. I probably did not allow my other bosses to employ it. But you see, I mean, I was the kind of person when if there was tension, things were not working out, I didn't understand it. I was ready to throw in the towel and walk out. Millennials, to all the employers here, I apologize on behalf of my generation. But are you like my boss? Now let me tell you what she did. It was a very simple thing, by the way. I'm sure you've heard about it all the time. It's a 4-letter word. It is commonly used, but rarely done. Love. That is what she did. She loved me. But how did she love me? She asked questions. That was the first thing she did. And that for me was a bit weird. Your boss asking you like, so Patricia, what are you passionate about? What do you like to do? I mean, yes. We're in this time where people are freely sharing their things. I mean, if you look at social media, it's crazy. Even the most mundane of things, like drinking a cup of tea. You take a picture, you put it on Instagram. #Jai. No, that wasn't me. So I don't understand why she was trying to be friends with me. And I was pushing her away, but she did not give up. She continued asking over and over again. And before I knew it, I was freely sharing with her. Okay, maybe I had too much sharing, but you get the drift. The second thing she did was to create opportunities for me to grow in the organization. Before I knew it, I was excited about the work. I could see myself growing in this organization. I could see where my future was going to be. And all this happened because she cared about me, because she loved me. Now, there was tension, but it was gone. There was a side-eye roll, but it was gone. Now, there's no judging here. I am very sure that there's some employees here, when the boss speaks, there is a side roll. So no judging. But you see, all this happened because of a slingshot. No, it was not a slingshot. This was not a slingshot. It was a bazooka of love. They say that love makes the world go round. But for me, she changed the trajectory of my entire life. So if you are here, and it may be work or home, and there is tension, there's disagreements, and then for the ladies, I have a headache, you know what to deploy, the bazooka. It's love in a time of war. Thank you.
Thank you very much, contestant number 2. I would like to request for a minute of silence so that our judges can mark their ballots. Thank you very much, timer. Our third contestant this evening is Toastmaster Charity Nyoshuti. And the title of Charity's speech, even before I read out the title of her speech, Charity, I'd like to see you. Okay, there you are. Can you confirm that you can hear and see me?
Yes, I can hear you, Timothy.
Great. Have you pinned the timer?
Yes, I have.
Right. The title of Charity's speech is When No One Understood Me. When No One Understood Me, Charity Nyoshuti. Charity Nyoshuti, When No One Understood Me. Over to you, Charity.
Have you ever been in a situation where no one understood you, no matter how much you explained and you proved? Contest chair, Toastmasters, and guests. Yes, personally, I've been there and it's a lonely journey. After university, I sat home for 1.5 years, applying for jobs in countless organizations, but with no success. And finally, I got a job, and this was a call center where it involved speaking to customers while putting on earphones for 8 hours every day. After 3 months, my ears started itching. That's when I went to the hospital, and the doctor told me it's because of the earphones I put on every day. Told me the earphones are reacting on my ears. I kept that to myself for the whole month because of the fear of leaving the job. Then one evening I came back from work and I told my aunt about it. I told her the job is seeming to be so hard, it is so painful, and I can't take it any longer. My aunt looked at me and she told me, do you know how long you have been sitting at home? Do you know how many of your friends are still seated at home looking for work, but they can't get any? But so you have got one and now you want to quit it. I explained to her, told her about it is too painful, how I would also love to continue with a job. Then she looked at me straight in the eyes and she asked me, how special are your ears? Of 500 people who are employed there, you want to tell me that your ears are that special? That's when I kept quiet and I told myself, I'm going to do with this myself. I'm not going to share with anyone again. Then after 1 week, I wrote my resignation, took it to my supervisor. I had to serve 1 more month notice and I quit the job. Where I took my resignation letter, I told myself, my life is precious and has got no spare parts. I quit the job, sat home. Of course, at home, my aunt had to ask me. I told her I quit. And for me, it taught me that sometimes we have got to move on and move away from what is not working. It was after 6 months, I got another opportunity from a long-time friend. And for me, my encouragement to everyone who could be going through the same situation, when one door closes, another one opens. It might not be immediate. It might take 1 month, 2 months, the whole year, even 2 years, but it eventually opens. Got to be courageous enough to move away from what is not working. Thank you. Over to you, contest chair.
Thank you very much. Contestant number 3. I'd like to request for a minute of silence to allow our judges mark their ballots. Thank you very much, Timer. I can see the queue. Contestant number 4, Toastmaster Brenda, can you confirm that you can see and hear me?
So I'm dealing with a poor blackout situation here, but I have some torches around me, so let's see how that works. I don't see the timer anymore.
Timer, kindly. Maybe you could, are you using a mobile device or?
No, computer. I'm using a laptop.
Kindly.
Oh, seen them. Okay. I've seen them. They're now pinned.
Are you ready?
Just a second. Yes.
Right. Contestant number 4 this evening is Toastmaster Brenda Asini. And the title of Brenda's speech is Adult Friendships. Adult Friendships, Brenda Asimwe. Brenda Asimwe, Adult Friendships. Over to you, Brenda.
Let's catch up soon. This is a phrase that most of you are familiar with. it's a statement you say to people when you bump into them in town or in traffic, and you say, let's catch up soon, call me. But then how often do we follow up these let's catch up soon to actually meet up with people, hang out with them, and actualize those meetups? I started thinking about this because it's around that time of the year when we're reflecting about how the year has gone. And I thought about some of the things that I had intentioned to work on. And one of them was friendships. And I thought, how do I show up for my friends? How can my friends show up for me? But also thinking that I need to judge my friends based off what I'm offering them. And it's with that I was looking through my phone and seeing these messages, 2 messages I was having with former classmates from university. And I'd suggested that let's catch up soon. But then 3 months had elapsed before the catching up happened. Contest chair, fellow contestants, Toastmasters, and guests. As I've thought about it further, I realized that friendships are a unique form of relationships, because you find that unlike family, we don't choose our family, but we get to choose our friends, and we get to decide whether they stay in our lives or whether they don't. And then there are voluntary bonds, which are like marriage or romantic relationships. And you find that you ideally wouldn't spend a full week, months without speaking to your partner. I hope no one in this room does that. But then with friendships, you realize that sometimes you will even take a lapse of like months without speaking to some of your friends, but it doesn't necessarily dissolve the friendship. And then you realize that, especially as we grow up and transition into different things, trying to chase promotions at work, growing family and taking care of children, volunteering in organizations like we're donating our time here in Toastmasters, and several other things. We have so many things coming at us that are demanding of our time, and things like friendships tend to fall through the cracks unless we're prioritizing them and putting them on top of the things to deal with in that madness and crazy schedule of life that we're trying to keep up with. But then I just want you to think about friendships when we were younger, when we were children. It was easy. It was just a matter of showing up at a playground and your friends would show up. You didn't have to schedule anything. You would expect them to show up and they would actually show up. But then with adult relationships, we realize that there are many intricacies and complexities that go into them. But I also think that that's what makes them extra special and meaningful. So in this whole journey of reflection, I've been thinking, how do I become a better friend? And what are some of those things that we do that actually make our friendships fall through the cracks? I'll start with a statement of let's catch up soon. I feel like it's really a hanging statement that does not really commit to anything. But then if you say let's catch up soon, and then you follow it up with, I'm actually free in the next 2 weeks, I'm dealing with this right now, but in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be free. Well, I'm going to have some leave days. I'm going to be working from home and I could grab a quick lunch. So you're going ahead to set intentions and to actualize that catch up. So I think that if we're actually setting intentions behind that phrase of let's catch up soon, then our friendships would be stronger and more meaningful. And then the other thing I think that most of us fall in the trap of is social media. It kind of creates this fallacy that we're keeping up with people because we're seeing updates, people, they're traveling or they're spending time with family. So you're liking their posts, you're making comments on their posts, you're resharing whatever they are resharing. So that kind of creates this reality that you're actually keeping up with these people, but then you're literally not. Because you realize that we only share certain components of our life, which is just like about like maybe 20% or maybe even less than that. Some people even none of that. So if you think that you're keeping up with your friends by following them on social media and you think that it is working, then we need to rethink that. And I'll give an example of this. Currently, as I speak, I am doing field work all the way in Moyo in northern Uganda. And there's a way being in the field, I feel frees my mind because you're moving into open air, the air is fresh, there's a lot of vegetation around. And for my kind of work, you're interacting with children, you're feeding off their energy. It is beautiful. So once I'm there and I'm like, I would like to document this moment and I share it, someone is like, oh, she's really doing well, she's happy. And yes, I'm happy. But then at the end of the day, I am back in my hotel room and I am exhausted. And I would really like, in those moments when someone calls in and they say, hey, how are you really doing? And then, we recap my day, we recap how their day was. And I feel it's those moments of us going beyond liking posts on Facebook to actually call people and say, how are you really doing? Or actually saying, let's catch up and have a conversation. You tell me more about whatever you're up to. Really strengthens and adds more meaning to these relationships. Because as we grow up, friendships are really important. And we all know this. Friends inspire us, they inspire us, they motivate us. They see the best in us when we don't see it in ourselves. So we really need to nurture these friendships. And we realize that in this whole craziness of life and everything we have going, that we have to also apportion time to these friendships, lest they fall through the cracks. So if in this room, there are people who, like me, are in the habit of saying, let's catch up, and then the statement just flies off just like that, and then you're looking back months later and you've not really caught up, just go back to those messages, make those phone calls, put timelines to that catching up, and go hang up with those people. Because friends make life beautiful. We not only choose our friends, they choose us. And I think that power of choice and us choosing to stay in these relationships and to nurture them is what makes life more meaningful. So my challenge to all of you is that if you have any such lingering messages on your WhatsApp or even direct messages, or people you bumped into and you've told, let's catch up soon, but then you've not really done that. And you didn't say that statement just for the sake of saying it, you actually had intentions of meeting up with this person, that after this call, after this meeting, that you go back and follow that up and meet up with your friends and strengthen those connections. Back to you, contest chair.
Thank you, contestant number 4. I'd like to request for 3 minutes to enable our judges mark their ballots and sum up their scores of the individual speakers. Thank you very much, timer. Thank you. I can confirm that the 3 minutes are up. Contest, I don't know why I want to call everyone contest chair, but chief judge, you may feel free to join the breakout room together with the ballot counters so that you check the results that have been submitted by the judges. And as the chief judge and the ballot counters exit the room, I'd like to invite back our contestants to the stage so that we can get to know them a little bit more in depth. So if you don't mind, kindly turn on your videos. I'd like to see those smiles. Okay, I can see contestant Elizabeth. I can see Patricia. I'm looking on the screen. I can't see Brenda, I can't see Charity, but we can start from those that we are seeing. Contestant Elizabeth. Wow, that was a wonderful and interesting journey for us to learn about your chronicles of fighting, or I don't know if that was a battle, the chronicles of weight loss. If I may ask you a question, I had an opportunity to receive a couple of feedback from you about the things that inspire you. And if I may read out a few, one that I see is you inspired by not giving up. Kindly share with us, where does this not giving up come from?
Contest chair, I will not give up, no matter the situation, unless it is life-threatening or if I see that I'll die. But if there's an opportunity to work around whatever situation it is, I'll hang on. I'll prepare a speech in 2 days and show up for the contest. I'll not give up.
Wow. Don't tell us that this speech was prepared in 2 days.
No, that's a story for another day.
Oh, great. I was going to be more than inspired by the level of excellence exhibited at Kampala Executive Toastmasters Club. Toastmaster Brenda, thank you very much, Elizabeth. Brenda, I have a question for you. Here, I can see that some of the hobbies that you have include things like hiking, things like traveling, reading, but I'm more fascinated by the hiking. Tell us about your most exhilarating hiking experience.
Well, it's funny that you asked that. I think my first hike and what got me into hiking was in 2018. There is a mountain, one of the 3 mountains that form the Virunga Hills in Kisoro. It's called Mountain Sabinho. It has 3 peaks. So this is how it started. I was at a Toastmasters meeting, and there's this visiting Toastmaster from Kenya, and he talked about how he had climbed Mount Rwenzori. And when I heard that, something sparked in me, and I thought I need to climb a mountain. I just didn't know so much about it, but I was curious about it. So when there's another person who came into my life and they had some experience in hiking, so I told them about my dream, and they were like, let's do this. So we went to Sabinho, and I've never been tested in my entire life like that mountain tested me. I had been told to prepare, but I don't know that I prepared enough. I cried on that mountain. But then it had the most beautiful view. It was kind of like a bittersweet feeling. And when I got back, I had muscle pulls for like an entire week. But then, interestingly, a week later, I saw on a status of one of my neighbors, she had been to Mount Elgon. And I was like, tell me more about that. And that's how I started. And now I think I enjoy it. It's a weird feeling, but you can only experience it if you do it.
Wow, thank you. If you cried on top of that mountain, well, I think I will start crying at the bottom of the mountain. Thank you very much for sharing with us that experience indeed. Learning a Toastmasters doesn't stop. From my childhood, I knew about 4 mountains in Uganda, and here I am learning about Mountain Sebinyo. How and from where would I have learned about this if it wasn't for Toastmasters? Thank you, Brenda, for sharing that experience with us. My next question will go to our second contestant, who is Toastmaster Patricia. I can see here that you love watching movies and TV shows, and you love reading. In 1 minute,
Yes.
tell us about one of those books that you read years or months ago, but are still stuck on your mind. You could tell us one.
Okay. It's actually a book I've been reading for the past 10 years. I read it every year. It's called Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. It makes me happy, my goodness. So this book is based on the prophet Hosea. So you know what happens in prophet Hosea, where God now tells him to marry a prostitute. Like, to see a love story, to see a Bible, story created into a whole love story. And now actually it's coming out as a movie next year in Feb. That's like my best book ever. I'm praying that the movie does not spoil it for me.
Wow. Even in this short speech, I could see a bit of love trying to to find expression. And when I read here, I can see that you're inspired by creativity and love. What has love got to do with the inspiration?
As I say, love makes the world go round, but I think also I am a lover of love. And I know people think maybe it is just boy-girl kind of relationship, but just the love of a father, because I really honestly don't think I'd be where I am if it wasn't for the love of my dad and my mom being behind me, the love of my friends. I'm here in Toastmasters because of the love of friends, and they're like, my God, you must join Toastmasters whether you like it or not, So yes, I just feel like if we understood the power of love, the world would be very different. And yes, so I'm inspired by that.
Thank you very much for reminding me that actually there is love outside boy-girl love. I spend 90% of my time with young people, and they get me forget about these wonderful realities. Thank you very much for reminding me about that.
You're welcome.
I will ask my next question to Charity. And if I may read here, I see that you also love reading inspirational books and socializing. Tonight, I've had one of the speakers encouraging us to do away with social media and all that. What is your take on social media and relationships or socializing as a whole?
My take on social media, yes, it sometimes makes us think that we are directly connected to the people we are chatting with. And personally, I have an experience where I used to chat with my friend. For me, I thought I was chatting with my friend, yet I was chatting with a sister. Then later I realized my friend was in prison. And for the whole month, I knew I was chatting with my friend until I met another friend who told me More is in the prison. I was like, no way, I've been chatting with her. The friend told me, no, you've been chatting with a sister. And for me, that one clearly showed me sometimes it matters to call someone and you hear from them, or arrange and meet them. That's when you will really connect and get a clear picture of how they are and how they are doing. Yes.
Wow, that must have been shocking. Thank you for sharing that experience with us. Now I will ask my second question, and I'll start with Patricia. Kindly share with us how your Toastmasters journey has been.
Oh, wow. I joined Toastmasters, I think it was either last week of September or first week of October. So it's about roughly 2 months. It has been interesting. It has been crazy, but interesting. And meeting new people, learning how to speak better. I would recommend it to everyone, honestly. Because it's not just communication skills, but leadership skills, time management. Yeah, there's so many skills you learn in Toastmasters. So far, so good. But I'm at just 2 months, but so far, so good.
Wow. Kampala executives, you are on fire. Thank you very much, Patricia. Charity, kindly share with us in 1 minute how your experience in Toastmasters has been. Has it been like the mountain one of us hiked?
My experience, the very first time I had to give an icebreaker, I felt like just switching off my phone and just disappear. But when I started it and I did my icebreaker, I loved it so much. And for me, what stands out for me every day, it's a safe space where you can do everything that you want to do and you won't be judged. You won't be, honestly, I found it as a safe space to grow and advance. I really appreciate for the warm welcome, and for everyone there, I'm really comfortable. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much. Elizabeth, I would like to ask you a second question. And the question is, what has been your highlight in your Toastmasters journey? I know you shared with us that you're not all in Toastmasters. Kindly share with us your highlight.
My highlights in Toastmasters, maybe I can share highlights, not just one. A few weeks ago, I received a compliment from my boss that I was better at moderating Zoom meetings. And I attribute that to Toastmasters. Thank you all for the support. Thank you for the encouragement. Special thanks to you, Timothy. Timothy, I can call you at 9 p.m. stuck and you're ready to, to step in and assist. Thanks to our coaches, Juliet. Thanks to Wilson, Brenda, everyone on our team is amazing. Another highlight I can share is being able to juggle different things. I know every one of us is busy, but amidst our busy schedules, we find time for Toastmasters. So I've been able to handle a number of things, factoring in that I have to attend a Toastmasters meeting. So I really appreciate that. So there are many ones this chair.
Thank you very much for sharing that experience with us. My next question will go to Brenda. And your question tonight is, if there is someone that has not yet joined Toastmasters, what is that one thing that you have enjoyed in the many years that you have stayed that you want them to enjoy at some point?
Sorry, whose question is that?
Well, Brenda.
Okay, what have I enjoyed in Toastmasters? Oof. I can think of multiple things, but I think that once you remember that choosing to join Toastmasters is one thing, but then growing, and which is through doing speech projects and choosing to lead or showing up when they call you to assist in a meeting, that it now becomes a choice, a deliberate choice that you have to do. I think that has really changed how I look at life. Because in here, I feel that I'm being challenged. You know, sometimes I'm thinking about things and I want to give up, but then you see someone on the side saying, hey, you can do this, you can do the other. So I really stay for the support and the inspiration, because I carry this inspiration even outside of Toastmasters, and even outside here when I am being challenged by things, when I feel like I should just throw in the towel, I think, what would Elizabeth do? What would Timothy do? What would Juliet do? And then I'm like, okay, this too can be done. So that keeps me going. And that's what I think, that anyone who shows up and chooses to stay, they stand to gain that and more.
Wow, from your response, I can confirm that there is a bit of accountability in Toastmasters. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, my final question, I'm not so sure whether it's going to be the final one. Google might send me one tailored question to all our contestants individually, but this is the one that we have right now. And I'll start with Toastmaster Elizabeth. How many, sorry, now let me just rephrase this. From this contest, what have you learned participating as a contestant?
Contest chair, I'm honing my skills. I'm honing my temperament, my emotional intelligence. Over the past week, I've been in a workshop, a very tight workshop. Creating time for preparing wasn't easy. Several times, we've missed meetings, but I always ensure that amidst the pressure, I create at least a few minutes to write a sentence or a paragraph. So the learning is shaping up, and is shaping up positively. And I believe by the next contest, I'll be sharper and ready to be better. Contest chair.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Indeed, at contests, the learning is what matters the most. If I may hear from our second contestant, Toastmaster Patricia, what is that one thing that you're walking away with tonight?
I think to just go and do it afraid. I signed up to be part of the contest. I got out. They tried to convince me. I came out. I got out, I think like twice, to be honest, until I was like, okay, no, I'll just do this afraid. So for me, that's my biggest thing that I've learned in this time, that sometimes, you know, even when you don't understand what it is you're supposed to do, you know, just do it afraid and basically hope for the best. At least you would have tried.
From your speech, we can tell that doing stuff afraid yields results. Today you had a speech. Toastmaster Charity, can you share with us one thing that you're walking away with from this contest tonight?
I've learned to be consistent and practicing. And not to be comfortable that I can do this, to put more efforts, and aspire to be perfect. No matter how much you have done something over and over again.
All right, thank you very much. I'd like to confirm if our chief judge is back into the room so that we can have our contest results. And as the contest judge, as the chief judge confirms, I would like to say thank you to all our contestants for your responses. Wilson, are you back in the meeting room?
Yes, Mr. Contest Chair, I'm here. My network is a bit unstable, so I won't unmute my video. But I can confirm that we have the results. For the evaluation speech contest, we had a tie, and we had to refer to our tiebreaker judge to make the final decision. For the international speech contest, one of the speakers went over time, and based on the regulations of these contests, Mr. Contest Chair, I've already shared with you the results. There were no complaints. Over to you, Toastmaster Timothy Kavuma.
Thank you very much, our Chief Judge, for those results. I do confirm that I have the results, and I would like to start reading them. But before we do that, I would like to deliver a certificate of appreciation to all our contestants. And I'll start with evaluation speech contestants. Sergeant at Arms, kindly confirm if we are ready to display the certificates.
Contest Chair, confirm that we're able to display the certificate.
All right, thank you. Our first contestant, as we get the certificate displayed on the screen, allow me to read the names. The first certificate of appreciation will be going to Toastmaster Elizabeth Asim. As we wait for your certificate, there it is. Well done, Toastmaster Elizabeth. That's your certificate of participation in the evaluation speech contest.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
The next certificate will go to Toastmaster Brenda Asimwe. And that is your certificate, Brenda. Thank you for preparing for your speech. The third certificate will go to Toastmaster Frank Kavuma. And there it is. Thank you for participating in the evaluation speech contest. Moving on to the next round of contestants. Still, the first certificate goes to Toastmaster Elizabeth Asimwe. Thank you for participating in the international speech contest. The winners tonight will be advancing to the next level, which is the area level. They'll be representing Kampala executives at Area 18's contest come 2022 in January. Sergeant at Arms, kindly display the certificate.
Contest Chair, please confirm if I should display the winner certificate or the participation for the next evaluation.
Right. Let's do one. What would you prefer? Should we do one contest? I'd like to go in the order how the certificates have been prepared.
Contest Chair, I kindly request that we also give participation certificates for the second contest.
All right, thank you. Our next certificate of participation will be going to Toastmaster Elizabeth Asimwe for participating in the international speech contest. Thank you for participating in this contest, Elizabeth. And the next certificate will be going to Toastmaster Patricia Opio. Thank you very much, Patricia, for participating in today's contest. And the third will be going to Toastmaster Charity Nyoshiti. Thank you, Charity, and there is your certificate. Lastly, but not the least, we shall have Brenda Asimwe. Now, this is the time. This is the time that I have been waiting for, from the point that we open this meeting room for us to announce the winners. Tonight we have winners, as it has been already announced by our chief judge, and I really can't wait to see those certificates and see our winners taking on the stage and celebrate their wins tonight. We shall start with the winners for the evaluation speech contest. And in third place, drum rolls. This audience is not looking forward to getting the results. Yes, I can see a couple. Yes, let's get some ululations. All right, thank you. In the third place, we have Toastmaster Frank Kavuma. Kindly display Frank's certificate. And there it goes. Thank you for participating in this contest, Frank. There is your certificate. In the second place, drum rolls. We have Toastmaster Elizabeth Asimwe. Thank you for describing how we deliver feedback. And in the first place, the winner is Toastmaster Brenda Asimwe. Brenda will be representing Kampala executives at the area level.
Congratulations, Brenda.
Brenda, first hold on to the call. We shall give you a minute to deliver your acceptance speech. Looking forward to listen to that. Now, moving forward to the next contest results, that is the international speech contest. We also have results. And in the third place, drum rolls. I think this is a contest that people didn't want to participate in because they don't want to get results. If you want to get results, drum rolls. All right. In the third place,
We are here. Yeah, we are here.
Yeah, I can hear you. In the third place, we have Toastmaster Charity Nyoshiti. Kindly display Charity's certificate. And there it goes. And in the second place, we have Toastmaster Elizabeth Asimwe. Well done, Elizabeth. In the first place, drum rolls. think this is the point where people get to feel nervous. Yes, in the first place, we have Toastmaster Patricia Opio.
Congratulations, Patricia.
Do it afraid. Thank you very much. And congratulations to all our winners tonight. Before we proceed, I'd like to invite our winners, the first place winners. For the second place winners, in any case where the first place winner is unable to represent the club, just be on a lookout. You could be the one to represent the club. So I would like to start with the winner for the evaluation speech contest to deliver their acceptance speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Brenda Asim.
Right now, I am overjoyed. And I just want to thank everyone that supported me, that walked this practice journey with me. Timothy,